Scrimper UK here. Today I'm going to talk about something different for a change, and this time it's bicycles. Now this bike here is my Dawes Super Galaxy touring cycle. I've been riding this bike for the last 29 years and it's getting a bit worn out now. I'll show you in a moment some of the problems with it. You could do with a respray definitely, but I'm a bit worried about the frame. It's been a good bike and I've done thousands and thousands of miles on it. Got a triple chain set on it, Shimano, with very low gearing. If you look at the smallest ring there, it's 24 teeth. And on the back I've got a very large wheel which gives me a pretty low gear for climbing the steepest hills. I couldn't manage without it these days because I'm getting a bit long in the tooth myself. It's been a decent bike. Now as you see it there, it's a sort of a maroony colour. It looks quite nice, but that isn't the colour it was when I first bought it, and I'll show you that in a moment. If you go up to the handlebars you'll see, or you should be able to see, I've got a little mirror on there, fitted on. I wouldn't ride a bike without a mirror now. I always rode a motorcycle with mirrors, so I don't see why I should ride a bicycle without them either. In fact, it's horrible if I try a bike without it. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is move out again. You can have another quick look at the bike, and then I'm going to show you the other side of the bike, and you can see the problem with it. Now you can see the reason why this frame is looking a bit iffy. My friend Adrian loves to point out on our rides that one day this frame's going to snap and I'm going to be left walking home. I don't think it's actually dangerous, but it could snap, as he says. I'm not convinced it's as bad as what he thinks it is, but maybe he's right and maybe he's not. He also says that he's seen lots of other Dawes Galaxies of this particular age, I mean it is after all 29 years old, have got this same problem in the same place. It's not necessarily lack of maintenance on my part, it could be a faulty paint job by Dawes. The actual bike itself, as you can see, is in this sort of purple colour. Now this is what the Super Galaxy looked like when I first bought it. I bought two of these. This one's a 23.5 inch frame, and I also bought a second one with a 22.5 inch frame for the wife. The paint was pretty poor on them. After about 12 months or so the paint looked really bad, and I complained to Dawes and they agreed to take both bikes back for respraying, and I actually took all the components off myself and left just the frame and forks, and they went back to the Dawes factory and they resprayed them in the purple colour like they are now. Even the new spray job didn't seem very good to me because they're showing a lot of rust points on it. I've seen cycle frames much older that have still got good paint on them. So that's my poor old Super Galaxy, 1989 model, in quite a sad state of affair. But all is not lost, because this is my other Dawes Super Galaxy. I bought this one in 1980. It cost me £230 from the local cycle shop, and it hasn't had a great deal of use. I didn't cycle that much in the years between 1980 and 89 until I joined the local CTC group, and by then I wanted something with a much lower range of gears, so I bought the new one that you've seen early on in the video. This bike's in remarkably good condition considering it's been stuck in the shed for the last 30 odd years, but the one problem with it really is the chain set. It doesn't have very good range of gears. It's only a double on the front, and on the back it isn't a very wide range block. It's not a cassette, it's just a normal freewheel. The bike wasn't originally equipped with index, but I have put an index gear changer on the back and index levers to convert it, and it's now a 6-speed. But what I plan to do is change this, and to that end I've got a few components I can show you that I'm going to fit shortly. I've managed to get this 6-speed block, 14 to 34 tooth, which should give me a fairly low gear on the back. I think what I might do is put this on and then try it out with the front chainring as it is, but if it's still not low enough to get up the steeper hills I might have to change the inner chainring as well. So I've actually bought a 26 tooth inner ring, a genuine TA one. They're rather expensive actually, but they are nice chain rings, so they do look nice, and for a bike of this age I think it's going to look a lot better than having a replacement Shimano chain set. In actual fact, for the cost of one ring you can almost buy a complete chain set, but I want to try and keep it as original as I can. So what I might do, I've got this now in stock and I might try and ride it without, but if necessary I can change this at a later date. This 1980 model is equipped with really nice shaped handlebars. They're Randoner pattern, and you can see they've got a slight lift to them from the centre, and I think they look quite nice. The only other issue with the bike is it's got these so-called duo levers on for the brakes, that being these levers here. Now at the time they were listed as being a distinct advantage in that you could operate the brake either from the normal brake levers or from these duo levers, whatever your position of your hands on the handlebars. But they quickly became known as Sissy levers, and later on even suicide levers. The real reason being, of course, that the argument was that whilst you were messing around with the duo levers, you didn't have time to go back to the normal levers, and therefore if you needed extra braking pressure by using the I was just going to call them Sissy levers, the duo levers, you couldn't get the same force on the brakes, and that's why they called them suicide levers. But I'm undecided. I mean, it's a bit of a conundrum really. I quite like to leave the bike original. I have got some spare new levers that I can put on to replace these, but I'm just not sure where to leave it original or not. I would appreciate any opinions on the subject. This bike was equipped as standard with the large flange hubs on the wheels, as you can see here. And actually, I quite like them. In fact, I prefer them. But a lot of bikes had them at the time, around the 1980s. They were the in thing, and then gradually they changed back to the small flange hubs. But actually, I think these large flange hubs look quite nice. They seem to go with the bike, and I certainly wouldn't want to change them. I much prefer them to small flange ones. It's quite interesting to see how Dawes have changed the head badge on their bicycles over the years. This on the 1980 Galaxy is not a bad badge. It's an enamelled badge and it's riveted on. It's got some body to it, so to speak. The one before this, on my Dawes Mirage, the earlier one, is even nicer. It's got a carved, embossed feel to it. But on the later ones, they changed it completely, and it was just a stick-on label, basically, with the word Dawes on. It completely spoilt it. I cannot understand why you can make a bike of this quality and stick a little plastic label on it. It just seems ridiculous to me. I'm sure it can't cost that much more for a nice head badge, and it makes all the difference to people who like bicycles. There you have it. My Dawes 1980 Super Galaxy. Over the next few weeks I do hope to be putting some new components on it and things, and perhaps I'll do some videos showing a few of these, and I'll show the completed bike when it's finished. Bye for now.